Hi, welcome to Children's Time. I'm writing a thank you note. I'm not very good at writing thank you notes, even though I think they're very important. But someone recently, a special person, gave me the most beautiful plant. Can you see it up here? Just gave it to me out of the blue. And I wanted to make sure I told her how much I loved it and how much joy it brings to me every day. And I've always admired Paul, the Apostle Paul, because he writes letters to new churches, the members of new churches who are really struggling. But he always starts off with a thank you. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your patience and your endurance. And our story today, our children's story today, is about a bear. And it's about a bear who says thank you. So he feels kind of bad because he's hosting a party, an impromptu party in his cave, and he doesn't feel like he has anything to contribute. But he really has some very special skills. So why don't you watch and see if you can figure out what they are. I'll see you after the story.
Bear Says Thanks, written by Karma Wilson and illustrated by Jane Chapman. Bear listens to the wind. He is bored, bored, bored.
I could make dinner, a feast I could share.
But he looks in the cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. The mouse stops by with a buckleberry pie, and the bear says,
Thanks.
Bear says,
Goodness me, a delectable pie, but I have made nothing.
he adds with a sigh. Then they hear,
Hi-ho!
and they both see Hare with a big brown batch of mullins at the door of the lair. Hare hurried in from the cold, rushing wind, and the bear says,
Thanks.
Of course.
says Hare, and then he points to the door. Here comes Badger. He's got even more, says Badger as he tromps inside. He sets down his pole and he smiles real wide.
I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole.
And the bear says,
Thanks.
Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground.
We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around.
There's a flap and a flutter and a flurry in the den when in flurries Owl with Raven and Wren.
We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew.
And the bear says,
Wait.
Bear mutters and he stutters and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down.
You have brought yummy treats. You are so nice to share, but me, I have nothing. My cupboards are bare.
Mouse
squeaks.
Don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food. You have stories to share.
And the bear says,
Thanks.
They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather round. In a cave in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend Bear. They pass around platters, they tweet and they chatter, and they all say, Thanks.
Bear really did a beautiful job of modeling how to say thank you every time somebody brought him something. And yet he didn't feel real secure, but his friends loved him. They loved him and they brought him things to eat. But they also said, Bear, we love your storytelling. We love your storytelling, because Bear had his own gift. So Bear and Paul both know the importance of saying thank you to people when you start off talking to them. he doesn't tell them about their faults or criticize them. Instead, he says, you know, you're new at this. Use me as a model. Imitate my behavior. Imitate what I do, because you know who I imitate, Paul said? I imitate Christ. So when you imitate me, you imitate Christ. And so I like that way of doing things. It reminded me of a statement somebody said to me the other day. We were looking at a guide dog, and she said, you know, a person who is blind needs a guide dog to guide them. They don't need a guidance dog. Imagine, like, instead of a guide dog who gets them through the perils of every day trying to commute different places, you had somebody who stood on the sideline and just critiqued and said, oh, there's a hole coming up pretty soon. Oh my goodness, watch out, their curb. Oh dear, the light's turning. That wouldn't be any help at all, and it would certainly make the person not feel very secure. So, like the guide dog, we have need for guidance also, you know, to have somebody guide us through the perils of life. And we're lucky because we have Christ. We have our wonderful shepherd to shepherd us through the hard times, to be with us at all times. And hopefully, if we do a good job at imitating Christ, other people will start wanting to imitate us, and it will be something that will catch on. So I'm going to end with an anonymous poem that said, could we only see the goodness of the ones we meet each day, we would overlook their failures as we greet them on life's way. So have a great week, and think about seeing the good in all you meet and saying thank you to people for the everyday wonderful things that they do for each of you. Take care, and God bless.